We're continuing our discussion today on what holistic security means as a Chief Information Security Officer. Because at the end of the day, being a holistic security leader, particularly as a CISO, brings a certain type of depth to it. There's an X factor to leading in this way, particularly now in the world of AI. And it means that we have to be able to bring a certain level of consciousness to this work in a way that no technology can. And at the end of the day, if everyone wanted to be a CISO, they could, right? Right? In theory, or maybe that's a myth. If it required a certain level of certification in order to be a CISO, then everyone who had that certification must automatically be qualified, right? Or maybe it takes a certain type of experience. Maybe it's having that one role that can qualify someone to be a CISO, right? Because if that was the case, then any of those individuals that had whatever that role was would qualify them to be a CISO. I can tell you, as someone that has a non-traditional background, that has been a CISO for over a decade and has worked with CISOs for the past 3 years, I can tell you from my experience that there is an X factor for what it means to truly be successful as a CISO. There are these intangible things that cannot be measured on a resume or even by metrics in an organization that you can truly present to a board to say, this person we know is going to be a great CISO. And that's because it takes a certain level of emotional awareness to hold fear, but not let it to control your narrative. It's because it requires a certain level of clarity to be able to see patterns where nobody else sees them. And that's because it takes a certain level of consciousness to not only be able to challenge yourself, but to be able to have challenging conversations with others, and to do that in a way that is grounded in integrity. And so if you're someone who is a leader in security, cybersecurity, as I mentioned in my post yesterday, if you haven't felt like you fit in, it's probably because you're part of changing the narrative of what it really means to be successful as a leader, particularly as we define and continue to define what holistic security means, not only for general security and how we look at it, but for what it means as a Chief Information Security Officer. Continue to follow me this month as we dive deeper into what it means to be successful in leading holistic security as a CISO.